Selected Poems of Georgia Douglas Johnson. By Georgia Douglas Johnson. I am living in the cellars and in every crowded place. I am toiling just to eat. In the cold and in the heat. And I laugh. I'm the laughing woman who's forgotten how to weep. I'm the laughing woman who's afraid to go to sleep. See 1930-189. Georgia Douglas Johnson, 1880 to 1966. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, Johnson spent much of her adult life at 1461 S Street Northwest, J.B. Washington, D.C., which she turned into one of the most famous literary salons of the 1920s. She moved to Washington with her husband after graduating from Atlanta University, but he died in 1925, after which she struggled to earn enough to support herself and her children. She became the most celebrated female poet of the Harlem Renaissance, publishing stories, writing plays, issuing a newspaper column, and publishing for books of poetry. In the midst of the Great Depression, this prolific writer lost her job at the Labor Department and then had to survive on temporary positions. Her time to write was thus cut back still further. A number of her unpublished stories and plays have never been recovered. The Heart of a Woman. The heart of a woman goes forth with the dawn. As a lone bird, soft winging, so restlessly on. Afar o'er life's turrets and vales does it roam. In the wake of those echoes the heart calls home. The heart of a woman falls back with the night, and enters some alien cage in its plight, and tires to forget it has dreamed of the stars, while it breaks, breaks, breaks on the sheltering bars. Common dust. And who shall separate the dust? What later we shall be? Whose keen discerning eye will scan and solve the mystery? The high, the low, the rich, the poor, the black, the white, the red, and all the chromatic between. Of whom shall it be said? Here lies the dust of Africa. Here are the sons of Rome. Here lies the one unlabeled. The world at large his home. 1s. Can one then separate the dust? Will mankind lie apart when life has settled back again, the same as from the start? Motherhood. Don't knock on my door, little child. I cannot let you in. You know not what a world this is, of cruelty and sin. Wait in the still eternity until I come to you. The world is cruel, cruel, child. I cannot let you through. Don't knock at my heart, little one. I cannot bear the pain of turning deaf ears to your call, time and time again. You do not know the monster men inhabiting the earth. Be still, my precious child. I cannot give you birth. My little dreams. I'm folding up my little dreams within my heart tonight, and praying I may soon forget the torture of their sight. For time's deft fingers scroll my brow with fell degree relentless art. I'm folding up my little dreams tonight within my heart. 6. Fell, cruel, capable of destroying. O.A. Mina Lowy, 1882 to 1966. Born in England, Lowy studied art in Germany, France, and Britain, and continued B.B. paint thereafter. She moved to Florence and became deeply involved with the Futurist movement, though she gave its politics and cultural ambitions a feminist inflection, as her 1919 aphorisms on Futurism suggests. Eventually she abandoned the movement as its patriarchal bias evolved into an emergent sympathy for fascism. Although she did not move permanently to the United States until 1936, first living in New York and then in Aspen, Colorado, and take up U.S. citizenship until late in her life, her work is often considered part of American modernism because some of her most important work was written while she was here for several years in the second decade of the century, and because it was often American journals that published and championed her poetry. In her feminist manifesto, unpublished but probably written shortly before the 1915 to 1917 Songs to Joannes, Lowy argues that woman must destroy in herself the desire to be loved and urges that honor, grief, sentimentality, pride, and consequently jealousy must be detached from sex. The songs accomplish that and more. Lowy concludes that all the values embedded in masculinity and femininity are perilous and destructive. Idealization of female purity and virtue, for example, is the principal instrument of her subjugation. The songs display only elliptical and minimalist vestiges of narrative. As it begins, the speaker has already failed at conventional romance, steeped in all the drama of stereotyped emotions, and opts instead not for unreflective animal sexuality but for something like a verbally inventive biological union. The sequence repeatedly offers up the illusory dramas of gender. I am the jealous storehouse of the candle ends that lit your adolescent learning, only to reject them repeatedly. In their place, Lowy offers us versions of intercourse that invent figures for bodily fluids. An anatomy, laughing honey, spermatozoa, in the milk of the moon, shuttlecock and battledore. Some critics have concluded that these are images of degraded lust. They seem instead to be anti-romantic but celebratory. Moreover, their variety and surprising capacity to recode the rhetoric of romance, honey, the milk of the moon, pink love, and feathers above Ali reposition romance tropes, demonstrate that a degendered human sexuality, one freed of cultural clichés about men and women, need not be impoverished. Published in the American journal Others, Songs to Joannes is a major contribution to experimental modernism. Readers interested in Lowy should be sure to consult The Lost Lunar Baedeker, 1996, which is the only accurate edition of her poems.